We all do it, every single day, probably without even thinking about it. We finish something, we're done with it, and we toss it away. But have you ever stopped to wonder where exactly is away? Well, that one simple act, it kicks off this massive, incredibly complex, and mostly hidden journey. So for the next few minutes, we're going to follow that piece of trash. We're going to peel back the curtain and see what really happens after its story with us is over. Let's start with just how big this whole thing is. It all starts with this number, half a kilogram. Now, that's the average amount of trash each person in India generates every single day. And I know, it might not sound like a whole lot, right? But just think, multiply that by over 1 billion people, day in and day out. You start to get a picture of the staggering mountain of trash we're building. And here's the thing, this isn't a problem that's just standing still. Oh no, it's growing, and it's growing fast. See, as our cities get bigger and our lives change, so does our trash. We're not just making more of it, we're making different kinds of it. And frankly, the system that's supposed to handle it all is struggling to keep up. And that creates some very real and often hidden dangers. So, what actually happens when that system gets overwhelmed? The consequences hit us right where we live, affecting our health and our planet in ways you probably haven't even thought about. First up, public health. An open dump is basically a 5-star hotel for things that make us sick. It's a buffet for flies carrying things like typhoid, it's a breeding ground for mosquitoes that give us malaria and dengue, and it's a paradise for rodents that can spread diseases like plague. And let's not forget the people on the front lines, the waste handlers, who face incredible risks every single day from what's hidden in that pile. And the damage doesn't just stop with disease. The environmental hit is huge. Sometimes trash is just burned out in the open, choking our air. Rainwater seeps through these dumps, creating this toxic soup called leachate that poisons our soil and our water. All while, deep inside that pile, decaying garbage is pumping out methane, a super potent greenhouse gas that's so flammable it can literally cause these trash mountains to explode. No joke. Okay, I know, that sounds pretty grim. But here's the good news. It is not a lost cause. Not at all. There's actually a clear, expert-approved playbook for how to manage all of this stuff the right way. Now look closely at the order here. This is so important. This is the waste management hierarchy, and it's basically a list of priorities. Notice what's at the very top? Prevention. And what's dead last? The absolute final resort? Disposal. The entire game plan is designed to avoid just burying our problems. So what does source reduction even mean? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The single best way to manage waste is to not create it in the first place. It's all about choosing things you can reuse, making products that are built to last, and cutting down on all that packaging. It's about stopping the problem before it even starts. So that's the ideal plan. That's the playbook. But how does it compare to what's actually happening out there, on the streets? Let's take a look. If you could peek inside a typical trash bin in India, this is pretty much what you'd find. About half of it is compostable stuff, food scraps, yard waste. Another 10% is recyclable material. This means a huge chunk of what we call waste isn't really waste at all. It's a potential resource. And this right here really shows you how fast things are changing. Check out this case study from Bangalore. Between 1999 and 2013, the share of things like paper, plastic, glass, and metal just skyrocketed. Our changing lifestyles are putting more and more complex stuff into the system. So, with all this potential for composting and recycling, where does most of our trash actually end up? The answer is, honestly, it's shocking. About 90% of it is simply dumped in low-lying areas. And we're not talking about properly engineered landfills here. We're talking about open dumps. This feels like a massive systemic problem, I know. But the key to unlocking that ideal playbook, to shifting away from dumping and towards recovery, it all starts with a surprisingly simple action. It starts with you. And it's this right here, source segregation. It sounds a bit technical, but all it really means is separating our trash right where we make it, in our homes, in our offices, into 3 basic bins: wet, dry, and domestic hazardous. And the difference this one little action makes? It's like night and day, seriously. When waste is separated, it becomes a valuable resource. It's cleaner, safer, and way easier to pull out recyclables or make compost. But when it's all mixed together, it's just a hazard. recyclables get ruined, and it all ends up in those dumps, creating the toxic leachate and methane gas we were talking about. Hey, don't just take my word for it. The expert analysis is crystal clear. This single act of sorting your waste before it even leaves your house, it automatically improves the entire system. It's the critical first domino that makes everything else, recycling, composting, safe disposal, even possible. Which brings us right back to where we started. That thing you throw away. After seeing this whole journey and all the potential it holds, we have to ask ourselves a new question. Is it really waste? Or is it just a valuable resource in the wrong bin? The answer, it turns out, is in our hands.